OTA day number 9 is in the books for the New York Giants, and Malik Nabers was unguardable. He was unstoppable. He was the best player on the field for Big Blue, and that is what you want to hear coming out of OTAs. Your first-round pick, number 6 overall, doing his thing, and you're getting some early returns on the player that he might be. We'll break down the awesome day that Malik Nabers had. We're going to talk about Sterling Shepard signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then we're going to break down practice at the end in totality. But let's start with really the highlight of the day, and that's Nabers, and every single beat reporter that was at practice today have sung the praises of what he did on the football field. Art Stapleton, one of the best in the business, says this: on Malik Nabers today, I have not seen a receiver have a practice like he did today since Odell Beckham Jr. I wish I can give you more than words, and the video is the team's ops to put out. He jumped off the page, so to speak. If this were training camp, my word. If you want to see the highlight catch that Malik Nabers had, you can hit me up on Twitter. I tweeted it out just a second ago. You can go check it out. He rises up over the top of Cordell Flott on a 9 route, and he takes the distance. Jordan Renan of ESPN, Art Stapleton wasn't the only one. Renan, he recorded a selfie video immediately after practice and said, wow, Malik Nabers looks legit, and he has a chance to be special. But it wasn't just Art Stapleton, and it wasn't just Jordan Renan. Pat Leonard also singing the praises of Malik Nabers. Unbelievable what he's been able to do. He said, just walked off the Giants practice field, and Malik Nabers was electric today. 2 deep touchdowns from Drew Lock, 1 on a 9 route down the left sideline versus Cordell Flott on an accurate deep Lock throw, and a leaping highlight reel catch on a Lock improv rollout and shot play over the top of the safeties. Nabers improv'd, flew up high, and snagged the ball and appeared to land inbounds inside the left sideline in the end zone. Incredible catch for 6. But it's not just the Giants beat reporters that are taking note of the talent that Malik Nabers has. His teammate and former SEC standout Jalin Hyatt says Malik Nabers brings confidence to the wide receiver room, and Hyatt noted how unique Nabers' explosiveness is given his weight. It's one thing to impress the beat reporters. It's another thing for people and players that have already been in the National Football League to take note of how special a rookie is. And the thing with Malik Nabers is he is just scratching the surface of the player he is going to be. He will not turn 21 years old. The man can't buy a beer until July 28th. He is going to go down. I want to say it too soon, but I'll go out and say it. He's going to go down as one of the best Giants at the receiver position of all time. I am firmly confident in that stance because he did it at LSU. And he's always going to be remembered at LSU for what he did, not just in 2023, but also 2022. 72 grabs, 1,000 yards in 2022, and then he upped his game to 89 catches for 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, 17.6 yards per catch, and 589 yards after the catch. We haven't even got to see at OTAs what he's able to do when the ball is in his hands because it's light contact. It's one thing to be able to cover Malik Nabers. It's another thing to have to get him on the ground. And a lot of people struggled with that last year. He forced college defenders to miss 30 tackles. That's number 4 in the FBS. He had 19 deep catches. We know he could take the top off. Number 2. He had 624 deep yards. Number 3. And we saw today when he head-topped Cordell Flott, former LSU Tiger, the contested catch, the catch radius, the ability for every ball thrown his way to be in play when it comes to bringing it in and hauling it in. He had 10 contested catches last year. The dude is special. He just is. At 6 foot, 200 pounds, runs a 4.35 40. He can throw up 225 pounds on the bench 12 times, and he can jump out of the stadium. 42-inch vertical. This is the most excited I have been for a Giants wide receiver room since when it was OBJ, Victor Cruz, and Brandon Marshall, and we know how that turned out. I haven't been this excited for a group of receivers in a long, long time. And it's not just excitement for this year. It's excitement for what is to come. Malik Nabers, 20 years old. Jalin Hyatt entering year 2 in the NFL. Wan'Dale Robinson entering year 3 in the NFL. Robinson, second-round pick. Hyatt, priority third-round pick. Nabers, top 7 pick. And Darius Slayton is still a pretty dang good receiver all by himself. Hodgins, we've seen him have success. Allen Robinson has had really good years in the NFL. Not sure how much gas he has left in the tank, but I'm excited to see what he can do. And Bryce Ford-Wheaton, we talked about it yesterday on the channel. He's been making some highlight plays himself. But it's not just Nabers that we're all excited about. Year 2, Jalin Hyatt, I'm not ready to close the book on him. Did he have a little bit of an underwhelming rookie year? Yeah, he played with 3 different quarterbacks, and those quarterbacks were sacked 85 times. There were some splash plays in that season, and Hyatt knows he needed to get better going into his sophomore campaign. Listen to this from Matt Sidak. I hope I am pronouncing his name correctly. If not, Matt, I apologize. He said this, wide receiver Jalin Hyatt said he's been getting more comfortable this offseason. Hyatt said getting bigger and stronger were among his top priorities since the end of last season. Also, wide receiver coach Mike Groh, he has been loudly talking about how much of an improved player and prospect Hyatt is going into year 2. And I'm expecting these numbers right here of 23 catches, 373 yards to be much higher. When you can trot out a receiver room, when you could throw 3 receivers, 4 receivers out there, and Hyatt runs a 4.3, Nabers runs a 4.3, Wan'Dale Robinson, one of the shiftiest players in the league, Slayton runs a 4.3. It's going to put a lot of pressure on all parts of the football field next year for the Giants, and I'm excited for that, but I'm really excited. As much as I am for Nabers, I want to see Jalin Hyatt become the player that I believe that he can be, which is a dynamic, home run hitting wide receiver. Excited to see what he could do. Grade the Giants wide receiver depth chart for me, though. Get out your red pen and be critical. Let me know how you honestly feel. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid too much. Bring me back down to reality. Sober me up. Grade the Giants wide receiver depth chart A, B, C, D, or F. Coming up next, we'll break down Sterling Shepard, longtime Giant legend in my opinion. I understand that some people feel differently. He is signing with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll talk about that. And we got a full OTA recap as the media was in the building. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS. And PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app, will match your first deposit up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports made easy. You pick 2+ players, 2 to 6, and you simply pick more or less on their projected stat line. The more players you have in your lineup, the higher your payout will be. And with the NBA Finals here, now is the time to play PrizePicks and win big-time money and withdraw your winnings whenever you want. You could turn $10 into $1,000. You could turn $20 into $60 with PrizePicks. The lineup that I'm rolling with for Game 1 is a courtesy to PrizePicks. They're giving you a freebie right now. Jason Tatum at just half a point. Select the more on that. Pair that with one other selection. I'm going to go more than half an assist for Derek Lively. And I'm going to turn potentially $20 into $60. And you can roll with my picks or fade my picks. But if you're going to play daily fantasy sports, I kindly ask that you do it with Giants Now by Chat Sports sponsor, PrizePicks. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS. If you've been watching this show since we started doing videos in the 2021 season, you know that I am a big-time fan of Sterling Shepard. The football player, the person, and really just the man that he is. I've got the most respect for him, and his career with the New York Giants is over, but his career in the NFL is not over. The news of the day is that he is going to be signing a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I am extremely excited for him. Maybe I shouldn't be because he's not a part of the Giants anymore. But, man, I've always had a soft spot for Shepard. I still remember that first touchdown that he caught from Eli Manning at AT&T Stadium in the end zone over the Cowboys. And he's had a good career at the Giants. Did injuries derail that? No doubt about it. But I just want to read something quickly from what Sterling Shepard messaged Josina Anderson this morning. Shepard said, "It's hard not to smile right now. I wasn't expecting this. 3 days ago, Baker Mayfield texted me asking, 'How does your body feel?' I said, 'I feel great. How's the baby?' Baker said, 'The baby is good.' Then Baker asked me, 'Man, you think you got one more in you?' I said, 'It just has to be right with everything I've got going on with my family because I already turned down other opportunities. But I've been kind of thinking about when I run outside every day and lift. Plus, when I golf with Saquon, he's been telling me I need to quit playing around because I still got it. Then Baker said, well, have your agent reach out because I know they threw your name around here a couple of days ago. So my agent hit them up. The Bucs wanted me to fly out the next day. I strapped my cleats on and hit the workout like I've been running routes all my life. The rest is history. I'm so happy right now. I get to be with my brother again, Baker. Before this, I was in full daddy mode, but we got the contract done, and now I'll get back in Tampa Sunday for mandatory mini camp. This is so crazy, man. My whole mood just changed 180. I just feel bad. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I feel bad that he wasn't able to be once a Giant, always a Giant, only a Giant, and the injuries got in the way of that. But I'll always have respect for Sterling Shepard. He epitomized what it meant to be a Giant on and off the field. I know my guy, Mr. Rick Chaw's watching this, and he's mad at me, and he's not a big Sterling Shepard fan, but I've always had a soft spot for him. I do. I always got love for that guy. Show him some love. Type those threes in the comment section. Young Shep keeps it going. Going to be playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. And the Giants, they play the Bucs. That is going to be weird if he makes that 53-man roster. Let's close the show talking about OTAs. Dart Stapleton, Daniel Jones again did just 7-on-7 periods. Today's session, goal line, and the Giants offense went with 4 wide receivers from inside the 10. Jones was 5 of 6, and all of those completions were touchdowns. 2 went to Wan'Dale, 2 to Hyatt, and 1 to Malik Nabers. So it's good to see Daniel Jones get back out there as he has all spring long, participating in 7-on-7s, not just 11-on-11s. But good to see him get off on the right foot here. Wan'Dale, Hyatt, Nabers, those are the guys that you want to see be a part of the people that are getting fed the football. Dan Duggan of The Athletic, one of the best in the business as well, said there was consistent pressure from the right side early in team periods where Josh Azudu was filling in at right tackle. Evan Neal still working on the side as he comes back from ankle surgery. He also said Kayvon Thibodeau likely will have a claim to a sack on the second Nabers touchdown as Drew Lock was forced to extend the play by rolling out of the pocket to his left. To be honest with you, I am still a little bit worried about this offensive line. Evan Neal was seen on the side riding a bike, according to Pat Leonard. I don't want to call it a setback, but the way Leonard kind of described it was that it was a setback because he had been participating in more practice parts than he did today. I would just start working out Jermaine Illuminor at the right tackle spot and then find a left guard, whether that's Azudu, whether that's McKeithen, whether that's Schlottman, whether that's Stinney. I'm not so sure you're ever going to see Evan Neal be a productive right tackle in this league. Duggan also said this. We'll reference a lot of Duggan quotes because he was at practice and he did a good job breaking it down. He said Locke had an accurate day, but again was under pressure on many of his dropbacks. Tommy DeVito was also under pressure frequently and had a rough day. Boogie Basham was in the backfield for a few sacks. Giants offensive line struggling even with Brian Burns not at practice today. Duggan also said, I wouldn't overreact to the pressure in these types of practices, but it makes it harder to evaluate since a lot of passes came after a sack would have occurred in a game. It's not New York Giants football unless we're talking about the offensive line struggling. 85 sacks last year, caused 3 different quarterbacks to get hurt. I'm always going to be worried about that. And nothing matters until you fix the offensive line. That's why I was so in the early part of the draft process of selecting Joe Alt. They never even had a chance to select Joe Alt. Rumors they wanted to. Don't know if those are true or not, but let's just hope the offensive line is better than it was last year. I'm not sure it could be any worse or I can handle that. Duggan also said this, Isaiah Simmons, undisclosed, hasn't participated this spring, but he was with the first-team defense in a sub-package during an install period. Looked like he was in a hybrid linebacker DB spot. Carter Coughlin was in the spot next to Bobby Okereke in the base defense with Micah McFadden, undisclosed, working on the side. I'm not sure what Isaiah Simmons is dealing with, but, man, I really do think in this new defense with Shane Bowen, he's going to be able to have a big role, kind of used as that jack-of-all-trades type of player. Talked about how he lined up in a linebacker DB role. We know Bowen likes to operate with a lot of DBs on the field. Ran the dime personnel package more than 31 teams last year, second highest rate of any team in the NFL. Simmons should be able to have a field day in his best season of his career with the Giants, and I thought this one was a good one as well. Rookie kicker Jude McAdamy. McAdamy? That's got to be it, right? McAdamy made a long field goal to close practice. He was being taunted by Dexter Lawrence being before the kick, and Dable called a timeout to ice him, hit the left upright, and went through. And maybe news of the day again. Brian Dable was the offensive play caller again. I think it's safe to say that Dable is going to be calling plays for the Giants this year. He's been working on it all spring long, and look, it's year 3. It's time to shut up, put up or shut up. And he was hired here because of his skills as an offensive coordinator. He needs to go and call plays for the Giants, or he's going to go down with Mike Kafka doing it. And I'm not saying that's the wrong thing, but if I was Dable, I want to go down on my own terms. I'd be calling the plays. If you're ready for the season, hit that thumbs up icon. Hearing about Nabers and all the dogs today at practice, that's got me pumped up, man. I'm ready for some Giants football. I was talking some smack to producer Seeps. He thinks the Vikings are going to steamroll the Giants week 1. He must have forgot what happened in the playoffs. Make sure you are following me over on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Hit me up over there, and let's go Big Blue.